Hey guys, this is Eric.
And this is Don.
And we are D&E Miniature and Board Gaming.
Eric, what do we have here today?
Well, you know, Don, this is a kind of an older game, but I got it on eBay the other day. Battles of Westeros for the, oh my god, Game of Thrones fans. It was like a, brain freeze right there for a second. This is the first. There are 5 expansions, plus a 6th box about this size that you can get that gives you another major army faction.
So is the main set in each expansion like a different house? I imagine this comes with at least 2, right?
You've got the Wardens of the North,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one for the West, and I believe there's one that has like Brianna Tart and stuff like that. And they'll come with like, I think it was 3 to 5 heroes in it, and then like a small faction just to add on to armies.
Okay.
But we're going to go ahead, open this one up. I've already got this plastic wrap off. Check out and see what we get in here.
Okay, let's see.
Because if I remember correctly, when I brought this up to you the other day, you never even had heard about this, had you?
No, this is new for me.
Yeah.
This will be new for us. Usually it's me explaining to you.
Of course.
Today you explained it to me.
Now this is a BattleLore game, but from everything, all the research I've done on it, there is like that you can't take this game and grab a BattleLore game and play them together.
Okay, well, explain to us that don't know, which may or may not include me, what is a BattleLore game?
Well, BattleLore, unlike your normal miniature game where, we use a ruler and dice to decide how far somebody moves and things, BattleLore uses a hex map.
Okay.
And they move a certain amount of hexes and things like that. It's pretty much just your normal miniature game, just a different style of playing it.
Okay.
And with the hex maps that you get tokens also where it'll give you river sections that you can lay down on the maps and stuff. There's a few different games. BattleLore it's like a fantasy game they have.
Mm-hmm.
They also do, I believe, Battle Cry, which is a Civil War game.
Okay.
Where you can play different Civil War battles. This one, the Battle of Westeros, is the Song of Ice and Fire from the books for Game of Thrones.
Right.
And you can play the different battles that you hear about that sometimes you don't even see play in the show.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing it's got, some of the tokens. Now, like I said, folks, and like Don said, we have not even played this game. So everything we're seeing, I've done my research on the game, but we're pretty much seeing this stuff for the first time also. I do know that a lot of the miniatures have flagpoles on them, so you know whose army is who. And it was actually one of the biggest complaints with the core set is that the cardboard flags that come with this game tend to fall off a lot. So you can actually get a small pack for, I believe it's like $7.99, and it actually has the plastic flags that you can put in there so that you don't have to worry about the cardboard falling off.
Well, you know me, I love replacing the cardboard counters with plastic pieces.
Which not everything you can replace in this.
Well,
because,
obviously.
like I said, and for those of you who can see it, you've got some of the replacements for the hex map. You've got streams, you've got trails, things like that, which allows you to modify your battlefield so that instead of having like 16 different maps in this game to play with it, you've got one green board and you add on to it to make the battle scene different. Kind of like getting the different tiles for some of the other games we have where you can arrange them different ways. Well, this one you actually just lay them right on the hexes.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, the hex maps. If you notice, if you can see from home, all it is green. You got hexes and grass. So you can have one great big open battlefield if you want, or you can add the woods and the streams and the bridges and rivers and have a bridge crossing battle. Right. Whoever can hold the bridge. Because obviously, they're not in tanks, folks. They're on horseback and they're on foot. If you don't hold the bridge, you ain't getting to the other side. So we have the battle plans for Westeros here, which is like I was explaining. It shows the different setups for the different battles that you can have. It'll show you where to set up your troops, and it shows you how to set up the different terrain features. And of course, the rule of play. I hadn't even seen this yet. Like I said, this was the first time I've opened it, and to tell you the truth, I bought it because I'm a Game of Thrones fan.
Right.
And I saw some of the unboxings and stuff, and that, you know, there were a few complaints about the system. Not so much the playing, but the cardboard counters for the flags.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's not your typical that you can just take this out of the box and play it. You have to put the bases on all the figures.
Oh, the horror.
I know. It's like these people have never played miniature games.
I'm sorry. No offense to the board game people out there, but sometimes y'all just make me shake my head.
Now, this is a game by Fantasy Flight, so they do add a little catalog in here to show different games that they've got coming out. Apparently Dust is in here. They're one of the Fantasy Flights as well, correct?
They were originally.
They were originally.
Not anymore. Dust is just a big... that could be a whole show right there with
Yes,
the Dust, and it's one of those Kickstarter controversies.
There's actually games in here I didn't even know. Nexus Ops. Have you ever heard of Nexus Ops?
No. I have to wonder how old this is, though, if Dust is still in there.
I know. And, you know, it's got Sid Meier's Civilization, the board game. I knew there was a board game for that.
Let's see. Let me see if I see a date on here somewhere.
It'd probably be either in the very front or very back.
One would think.
One would hope.
Interesting models in this one. Nexus Ops.
That's what I thought when I was looking at it. Now, one thing that they were talking about, the difference between the BattleLore and, like I said, I haven't played a BattleLore game. I don't believe you have, Don.
No.
Is that they had 8-sided dice for this game. And we will dig into the rules and figure out what the differences between these are. Now, I know it has something to do with the factions and things like that.
These are our new releases for fourth quarter of 2011.
Well, it's only 4 years old.
Yeah.
Probably 5, actually, because, you know, like Cars. 2011 means it came out in 2010.
Possibly. So this is an older game.
Yes, it is. Well, that's what we said when we started anyways. But some of the expansions are newer. And you can still go, and I will add the website on, but there is a website that you can go to, and I think it is Fantasy Flight, that in their store you can actually order these things.
Okay. So actually, with it being like 2011, I imagine everything is based off of the book. Because has the show even started?
Well, what are we in, 4th or 5th season now? So yeah,
Fourth.
the show had started.
Yeah. 4th.
It would have been the first year.
Yeah, been the first year.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably no nothing. I think I remember a podcast I was listening to talking about there was a new edition of the card game for this Fantasy Flight that had some pictures from the show in it for the first time.
Yeah. Well, that is one thing that, for those of you who've only seen the show, and unlike me, have you read the books?
I have read the books. I had to stay quiet about the Red Wedding for, 3 years?
God, I know. And I had to stay quiet about Joffrey's death, which, you know, I was kind of giddy about, you know.
Well, I stayed quiet with a smile on my face.
I hated Joffrey, but I think we all hated Joffrey.
I think he retired from acting. People hated him so much, but really, they should take that as a compliment.
Now, one thing though, and that would go into that would explain it, is your character cards in here are illustrations. They are not the characters from Game of Thrones. So don't expect to pop this open and see was it Harrington for Jon Snow. You're not going to see him.
The card just says you know nothing. My character card says I know nothing. Let's be playing Jon Snow.
Now, the two armies, they come in gray and red.
Gimme.
I believe, if I remember correctly, we have Lannisters and House Stark.
One would think with gray and red.
Yeah, one would think. But I do remember reading somewhere that one of them, one of these armies, I think it was it would be the Starks because of the wolves. But one of their characters was wolf handlers.
I was just looking at this model.
Yep, they actually one of their units are wolves.
You should pull that model out and show that sometime before we get done.
Well, we can do that. We've also got a bag of heroes. Now, since we haven't dug into this, I don't know who's who in here. Because like I said, it's not based off the show, it's based off the book.
Well, these look gray.
Well, those are the hero characters.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's going to be hard to figure out who's who. Unless we
obviously you need to find the villain bag for the red.
The stands of the cardboard flags that we were talking about earlier. The Lannisters. And this is the biggest... This was actually, besides the flags, this was the biggest complaint. Was that they didn't come on their bases. And I'm just sitting here going, are you kidding? That's the biggest complaint? They don't come on their bases.
Are you familiar with Shadows of Brimstone?
No.
Shadows of Brimstone it's an awesome game. It's very Warhammer Quest. And all the models came in hard plastic on the sprue. And I just thought this was the greatest thing ever. And it's one of like 2 or 3 games that I kick myself daily for not getting in the Kickstarter. But people just complain up and down because they had to put models together. I don't get that. It's a feature to me. I do not get that at all.
And here's the thing. I mean, if I remember, they said it was like 130. Don't quote me on that. But game content, 138 figure bases, 138 plastic figures. Okay. Don, what are we talking? 138 figures, and they have the holes for them to go in. And a thing of glue, what are we talking, an hour?
You probably don't even need glue.
No, that was the thing, is they said that they fall out if they're not glued in. You just wanted to get one of the wolf guys out, didn't you? Actually, that's not bad. Nice stick.
My God, that took 2 seconds.
Is there 2 wolves on
I'm just
there?
done. Yeah, he's got 2 wolves. And a chain, and a little guy.
And a sword, dude. And you know, actually, the quality's not bad.
No, it's not bad. Here's a pro tip for you, actually. If you get stuff like this, models like these, Zombicide is a good example, Rum and Bones, which we just got finished doing. A lot of these plastic miniatures, sometimes they'll come out and they'll be a little bit bent. You get hot water.
And you dip them.
Just before it gets boiling. And half the time you just dip it in that and it goes right back to where it's supposed to be. At worst, you might have to move it a little bit, then maybe run some cold water on it, and it solidifies right back up. It looks horrible till you know how to fix it. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. I mean, and I look at plastic like this and it's bent, it no longer even phases me. Once I tried it and saw that it was just
now you know where I learned
easy.
that trick. Mantic did a video for that.
Really?
Yeah. Mantic Games, they did a whole video on not only straightening out figures like this that were bent, but taking the hard plastics and using the water trick instead of all the cutting and filling that we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You take that water, you dip it in that water, and when it softens up, you bend it into the pose you want it in. And I tell you, I used it on some of their plague figures. And it works. Even the harder plastic that they use, because they use like a rustic plastic or something like that they call it.
They're kind of getting away from that now, but a lot of their stuff is still in rustic.
But you have to dip it a little bit longer. But yeah, you can move stuff around with no problem.
I have 2 big Mantic Kickstarters coming in soon.
We
back to back.
Both have Mantic Kickstarters coming in soon.
Did you back Kings of War and Dungeon Saga?
No, I backed Dead Zone, which is due out in January.
Well, that's not soon. Soon is next month.
Yes, but you know, they're talking about the early shipments coming out before those 2 come out.
Really?
There's a small gap before one of them and in between the other one.
Okay, so it'll be after Kings of War.
They don't know if it's going to be... They
Saga.
don't know what spot it's going to be in, but it's supposed to come in that spot.
So I'm just going to get 3 of them right back to back to each other.
Which we will have 3 more unboxings.
Lots of stuff for us to do. Bring it on, Mantic.
Because we like unboxings. You know, this actually looks like one of those games that once we figure it out, that we should play in front of the camera. At least 1 or 2 rounds.
Maybe. I wasn't sure, but after looking at it, yeah, okay. I'm game.
Well, folks, once again, you know, if you liked what you saw, please check out our other videos. And, leave some comments. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like. Because we're doing this not only for the sheer, fun of it. Because, trust me, I've been texting this guy every day since our last one. Called, man, we got this many views. We got this many views. And you've been kind of shocked.
I have.
We didn't think we'd get many. I was surprised the first video even got 30 views. It was for a small Kickstarter of 2,000 things.
Yeah.
But then we did the Malifaux one, and in a week it's over 100. And
well, Malifaux people are awesome.
But we're not sponsored. We don't have any commercial, nothing yet. And people are finding our video and they're checking it out. Now, granted, my kid could have watched it 99 times. I don't know. But
yeah, you never know. I don't think we're at the point where we would actually start getting sponsors. But please send us stuff.
If you send us stuff for your Kickstarters coming up, we will be more than happy to play it. We will pop it out. We will talk about it. We're game for anything, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've even got him tempted to play Risk. But only half tempted, folks. Hey, but once again, leave us some comments. And I'm Eric.
I'm Don.
And we're out.